Hey guys, Jessica Jackstock here. First off, I am super excited about this challenge we're doing with the mini kits this week. I hope you all that got kits are super excited and that you're starting to get your kits in the mail. I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about why I personally chose Young Living essential oils and why I believe that this non-toxic lifestyle is so important. If you watched my hormone balancing video from a few weeks ago, you already know some of my story. If you haven't seen that video, you can feel free to look back and watch that video. If you just search for like hormones, I think it should come up. It's also in one of the units if you look on the units tab in the group. So this topic is something that is very dear to my heart. I grew up in a family that was pretty naturally minded. My mom experienced a number of health issues when I was growing up, and so she and my dad just did a lot to try to like find natural remedies for these issues that my mom was experiencing. Hey Alexandra, hey Laurel, thanks for hopping on. So like I grew up with a lot of exposure to like natural remedies, natural living, like eating healthy. Hey Candace, thanks for jumping on. So you know, this was like nothing new to me. We even used essential oils some. Basically all we used was tea tree, and I didn't know that there was like this whole world of essential oils until much later on. But I had like a little bit of exposure to essential oils at that time. So when I went to college, sorry about the notifications. Okay. When I went to college, I kind of like fell off the wagon a little bit, I guess. Like I still understood the importance of being healthy and like natural, you know, not putting a lot of like synthetics or toxins in your body, but like I didn't really know how to do it. And so I ended up like I bought some products that I thought were good and they really weren't, basically because of greenwashing, which I also did another post on in the group here if you want to go back and look at what greenwashing is. So like I was still putting toxins in my body and was not like doing the best that I could for keeping my body healthy and for like getting toxins out. So fast forward a few years, my husband and I got married in 2010, and when I started using natural family planning, which I did another video on, so lots of references here to other things I've done in the past. But when I started doing natural family planning, I realized that I had low progesterone, which if you are familiar with progesterone, that is the hormone that causes your body to be able to maintain a pregnancy. And without sufficient levels of progesterone, your body can't maintain a pregnancy. So what happened for me was when my husband and I were ready to start a family, we ended up having 3 miscarriages in the course of 6 months. So just like bang, 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 one right after the other. And obviously that was a super painful, very hard time for us. So I had been doing some research before then. I knew that like I needed to get my hormones balanced. I knew that I wanted to use natural remedies, but like I couldn't get things where I wanted them. And so I ended up taking basically a progesterone supplement to be able to maintain the pregnancy with my son. So I had my son, and then a few months later, my friend Lydia, who is also in this group, and you'll see her name pop up. I think you've seen her a couple times today. She invited me to her house for a class on essential oils. And like, I had no idea what they were. I was like, what are essential oils? And she's like, oh, well, they're natural remedies. I'm like, oh, great. Like, I love natural remedies. So then she invited me over and I learned about Young Living essential oils, and I went home and I was like, I'm a very frugal person, so like I didn't buy a kit then. I went home and I started doing research on how I could get essential oils and like what oils were best for like the best price. And like I kept messaging Lydia and I was like, Lydia, what about, you know, like this? Like I see this company that's cheaper. Like how do I know that, you know, Young Living is better? And she's like, well, just keep going back to the seed to seal. She kept pointing me back to the seed to seal process and how important it was that we know that the Young Living essential oils are. I think like the 2 most important things here are that they are of the highest purity and they're of the highest quality. So not only are they pure, but they're super potent. So like there are other companies that I would say, yeah, their oils are probably pure, but they're not as strong. And I have not personally had as good of results when I have tried oils from other companies. So finally I was like, okay, the seed to seal thing, that makes sense. I am on board. So I got my starter kit, and it kind of just like sat in my bathroom for, I don't know, it was a while, like longer than I like to admit. Like I opened all the bottles, I smelled them, I thought frankincense smelled weird, and I was like, why is everyone so obsessed with frankincense? It smells really weird. But I used a couple of them, but I used them like if I had issues that I needed to deal with, then I'd pull out a bottle of oil that would deal with that specific issue. But I didn't really like implement them into my everyday routine. So I can't remember exactly how it happened, but one day something just like clicked for me, and I was like, oh, I could be using oils not as like a first aid kit, but as a preventive measure. And so I just started like trying different oils, and like every day I would try something new and try it in a different way, and just like started diffusing stuff, like not even because I didn't feel good or had like some issue I wanted to deal with, but like just because, just to use the oils. And something interesting happened. And I have to think of a way to say this in a way that is like medically compliant, because we can't, make claims about our oils like treating diseases and stuff, because we're not doctors. We're not trying to like tell you to, not talk to your doctor or whatever. But basically what happened was I ended up like, I got a lot healthier. I felt a lot better. Like I had more energy. My skin was clearer, like because I was replacing all of these toxic products with products from Young Living that I knew were pure, I knew were clean, I knew didn't have any weird toxins in them that were going to mess with my hormones or other systems of my body. And without like, okay, my husband and I were not actively trying to get pregnant, but we were not avoiding pregnancy either. So we were kind of hoping we would get pregnant, but it wasn't like we were trying to make this happen. And then like kind of a surprise happened. I got pregnant with my daughter during like one of the most unideal times, because we were in the middle of a move. My husband was starting or going to be starting his PhD program. So like we were thinking about that. We were like packing everything up. I hadn't had like a lot of cervical mucus during that cycle. And so I didn't even know if I had ovulated. And lo and behold, we moved, and like within the first week after we got here, I said, okay, something's a little off. I'm going to take a pregnancy test. And I was pregnant with our daughter. And like the two pregnancies, the one with my son where I had to use the progesterone to maintain the pregnancy, and then the one with my daughter where I did the progesterone because I wanted to be safe. Like I did not want to lose this pregnancy too. But like it was a completely different experience. I knew my body was healthy. I knew that like this baby was going to be okay. And she was. I mean, she's a very healthy little girl. And like the postpartum experience has been completely different too. Like postpartum with my son was really, really hard. And I know some of that is just adjusting to having a new person in the house and me being like a super independent person. And then suddenly having this person who's like depending on me all the time. I'm like, I can't take this. So like, I know that's part of it. But I really believe that like a huge part of it was just how much healthier I was and how I had eliminated all of these toxins, because I started doing the research and realized how many things I was still allowing in my home, even though I thought that, I was being safer. So that's my story about like why I use Young Living and why I am so passionate about non-toxic living. There are like so many other aspects of it, but that's like the huge one for me. So if you are currently using Young Living, or if you are, trying to engage in a more like non-toxic lifestyle, I would love for you to let me know why you are looking to make this change or have already made this change. I think when we tap into why we're doing something, it makes it so much more powerful. So I hope this was, helpful for you to kind of see like what kinds of things can happen when you start making positive changes in your life. And again, I would love to hear, what has been your motivation for pursuing this kind of lifestyle as well. So I hope you guys all have a great day. And again, I'm super excited about this challenge. And I will talk to you all later on this week. All right, bye-bye.